Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Amethyst Rune Witch, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about candle magic, because in a lot of the spells that I've done for this, I haven't used candles. I don't know why. It's just not really been something that it's not really been a tool, an ingredient in the spell that I've necessarily felt I personally needed to use. But there's all sorts of different spells, there's different candles, because of course you've got your white candles, your red, your greens, your pinks, your purples, your gold, silver. You pick a colour, there's a candle in that. You can find a candle in that colour. Different colours can have different associations, and for anyone just starting out with candle magic, that can be quite overwhelming. So I thought I'd do this video to help with that and to encourage the use of candles and their colours. So I'm going to split this up into groups. So I'm going to do the elements, I'm going to do the zodiac, and then I'm going to do just general colours. So if you want to use, so for example, if you're not able to openly practice in your home for whatever reason, but there is a massive love of candles throughout the home, you can use candles as part of your craft. So if you want to honour the 4 elements, you can use candles for that. I say 4 elements, there's 5, but so you can have one candle in each colour that is associated with that element. So for example, let's start with earth. Earth could be a green. Personally, I associate brown with it, but that's just me. So you can have a green candle or a brown one for the element of earth. You could have a yellow candle for air. Now, yellow is usually associated with the element of air, because blue is the colour of water. That's the whole thing. So you can have a green for earth, yellow for air, blue for water, and red for fire. You could argue for an orange, but it's any, to be fair, you could have any colour candle you associate with that element. So as I said, green is the usual. It's the typical colour associated with earth, but I associate brown with it. So I could use a brown candle and still have that candle represent earth, while someone else could have a green candle for earth. There's no right or wrong, nor is it right or wrong as to what shade of green, the shade of colour for the element. So you could have a pale yellow for air. You could have a deep red for fire. That's the beauty of candle magic, to me anyway, is that you can have different colours for different things, but there's no right or wrong about it. So we've done the elemental colours. Let's go through the zodiac, because some people will say, oh, you should look at when the moon is in a particular sign, when the sun's in a particular sign, and do spells based on that. I fully agree with that. I will say yes, absolutely, but only if you're comfortable doing that. Because if you don't have the right tools and information at your disposal, you can't necessarily figure that out really easily. I know I did a video on lunar living and ended up sort of going off on a little bit of a tangent about the Moonface Studios calendar posters, which I love using, but it simplifies everything because the zodiac seasons are represented. The moon is there. It's centered around the moon, but it shows the phases of the moon and what sign the moon is in, as you know, all through the year. So it's not just what sign the new moon is in, what sign the full moon is in. It's all through the year. So I love using that because that does help me, especially if I am doing a spell with someone specific in mind. It really helps. So that I will use it. But if you want to have a nice, simple, easy way of organizing, bringing in the zodiac energy into your spell, because I don't know, you're doing a cord cutting spell and you know that the other person, so you want to have 2 candles, one for you, one for them, as an example, by the way, a candle for you, a candle for them, but you want them to represent the people. So you can have, a candle in your zodiac sign, a candle in their zodiac sign colour. It's nice and easy. And then the cord between the 2 candles that represents the energies between you. Simple. So all you'd need to know is the zodiac signs of individuals, and off you go. So bringing in that energy. So say, for example, you wanted to do a spell about bringing in the home, about finding a home that is just right, that is comfortable, that is, the luxury that you need. You can do a candle. You can use a candle in the colour associated with Taurus, because Taurus is associated with Venus, and there's a lot of energies around luxury and love and beauty. There's all of that, connected there. So let's go through the zodiac and see what's what. So we start with Aries, 21st of March to the 20th of April. The colour, red. It's kind of a fire sign, but it's also ruled by Mars. So there is, that red. So there is, definitely a red. I can see the red association there. Mars is the god of fire. Not fire. The god of war. And a lot of red liquid gets spilt during wartime. So there's that. Taurus. Let's do Taurus. 21st of April to the 21st of May. Pink. So there's the Venus connection. There's the beauty, the luxury. Pink is, it's not my colour personally, but I can see the connection there, and so when I say I can make the connection, it's I can see where the logic is within that. So as I said, Venus, luxury, beauty, love, connected to Taurus, which is, getting things done, very material, very earthy, very much there. I can kind of see the pink. I can see the pink. Gemini's next. It's I believe it's an air sign. 22nd of May to the 21st of June. For this is like a yellow or a pale grey. I can definitely see a yellow because of the air sign, but also Gemini's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is, the messenger of the gods. It's all about communication, which is a connection to air. So there's, there's a lot. I can definitely see the yellow, pale grey less, but that's me. So, for example, if I were to do a spell and, want to bring in energy of Gemini, but the moon's not in Gemini, the sun's nowhere near going into Gemini, we don't even have a full moon in Gemini coming up, when could I do it? Oh, I can still do it. I just use a yellow candle because of the connection with Mercury. That's how I'd do it. If you felt pale grey is a better colour, use pale grey. There is nothing stopping you. Just because I'm saying this is what I do doesn't mean you can't go and do something else because it makes sense to you. Cancer, the crab. 22nd of June to the 22nd of July. We have a colour of silver. It's a water sign. It's ruled by the moon, so there's the silver light of the moon. Cancer. The crab itself is a water. It's a water animal. Connections to the home, the family, but protection especially. You've got the hard outer shell of the crab with the soft meats inside. I know that crabs are usually not silver, so you could argue for using a black candle, red candle, blue candle, whatever colour candle you fancy using, you can do that. But if you want to keep it simple, you could go with a silver one for the connection with the moon. Next is Leo, the lion. The season of Leo is between the 23rd of July and the 23rd of August. And this sign is ruled by the sun, so the colour reflects that because it's gold. So, it's that if you're in the northern hemisphere, Leo season is the height of summer. That's when the hot weather is. That's when everyone's going off on their summer holidays and having a good time. That's when that is. That's the gold, because that's when the sun is at its height, even though we've, it's past the summer solstice. But gold's a good one, but also it's the colour of a lion's fur. You know, a sandy gold. It works. There's lots of connections there. Next we've got Virgo. 24th of August to the 22nd of September. This is an earth sign. It's ruled by Mercury because there's a lot of organising, communicating, being efficient, bringing order. So the colours, you've got a choice of green or pale blue. But it wouldn't really matter which one you chose to me, because it's, you know, Virgo is symbolized by the maiden. So green, you could argue, the maiden, it's, you know, that first phase, as it were. You've got the first, you know, it's that start. It's a springtime sort of energy from a maiden. You could also argue pale blue because the colours of flowers springing up. See, there's this, you know, I could go off on other tangents. Next we've got Libra. And the Libra season is the 23rd of September to the 23rd of October. Another sign ruled by Venus, but this time it's an air sign. So Taurus was an earth sign, this is an air sign. And the colours for Libra would be blue or violet. I can definitely see blue, but I can also see violet, because Libra is the scale, so it's all about balance. But you could also argue that Libra is a good sign for justice. You know, because you're weighing both sides. Someone impartial, someone else is weighing both sides. And that someone else would be important, you know, within the courts, they'd be important. That importance could be symbolised by the colour violet. You could also argue that blue is a good colour for that, but then it would, to me, it would depend on the shade of blue. So if Virgo's a pale blue, to me Libra would be a deeper navy blue. But that's, again, that's just me. If you feel that Libra is more of a sort of mid blue, a medium blue, go for it. That's the blue you can use. I'm not going to stop you. No one else is going to stop you. That's your choice. Next we've got Scorpio. Scorpio is from the 24th of October to the 22nd of November. There's 2 different planets you can choose from for this, because in the ancient system it was ruled by Mars, but in the more modern system it's ruled by Pluto, because Pluto wasn't Pluto wasn't a planet to the ancients. But the colour for Scorpio would be a burgundy or red. I mean, it's a water sign, so you could argue for a blue. But I can see a sort of deep red, a burgundy red, for Scorpio. It's the scorpion. It's, you know, they can come and, you know, when I think of a scorpion, I automatically think of a black scorpion, but, you know, you could, you know, I don't know if there's any other colours of scorpions, but that's just what I think of. I'm not entirely sure of where the colour connection comes in, but I suppose because it's a fixed water sign, so there's a lot of passion. Because the scorpion doesn't do anything unless it's provoked. So the emotions have to be high for anything to happen. So I can kind of see the red connection there, whether it's out of anger or just, someone's just prodded you one too many times. I can kind of see the red connection. But next we have Sagittarius, the Archer. This zodiac season is from the 23rd of November to the 21st of December. So Sagittarius season, the winter solstice. It's ruled by Jupiter, the planet of expansion. And the colour is orange or yellow. It is a fire sign. With Sagittarius season ending with the winter solstice, which is all about the sun coming back to the world. The sun's power has been decreasing since the summer solstice. The winter solstice is when that gets reversed, so the sun's energy gets increased. The sun's energy comes back to it. Yellow, I can see. There's an element of optimism. So orangey, yellowy, I can see that. That's me making that connection. Remember, sorry if I keep repeating myself a lot. It's one of those things where I'm like, I can see the connection. I don't necessarily know if anyone else can. Hence, I'm explaining how I'm making those connections, but also just the general feeling of the planet associated with the sign, how that colour ties into the sign and the planet. It's trying to make sure that everyone can understand. Next, we've got Capricorn. Typically shown as a goat. But this zodiac has its season between the 22nd of December and the 20th of January. It's ruled by Saturn. I believe Saturn's the planet of limitations. And when I say limitations, I don't mean things like you can't do this, you can't do that. It's more of there's boundaries. You push as far as you can until you find the boundary. That's the Saturn energy. With this sign, the colours are brown or black. Goats can be brown, black, or white. So I can physically see goats as those colours. So yeah, it's an earth sign, so there's another element, there's another connection to brown, but it's also, I can see those connections. If you make a connection with a different kind of colour, that's fine. But again, it could be any shade of brown. I've seen goats that are a tan brown. I've seen them really dark brown, almost black. Medium brown. Pick a shade. Pick a shade of brown. You're good. The next zodiac, almost to the end. The next zodiac is Aquarius. Aquarius season is from the 21st of January to the 18th of February. Ruled by Saturn previously in the ancient system. now ruled by Uranus. So there's, I mean, the colour for Aquarius would be indigo or dark blue. In Aquarius is, you know, the rebel, the think outside the box, the you know, it's that sort of energy. But there's also an element of being detached. So this is indigo or dark blue. I mean, Aquarius is symbolized by the water carrier, but it's an air sign. So there's, you know, some people would argue that Aquarius is a water sign because it's the water bearer. It's an air sign. But yeah, indigo or dark blue. And I can kind of see that with the water carrier, the, you know, and everything else. So the last one is Pisces. Pisces is the last one. It's the last water sign, and the season is from the 19th of February to the 20th of March. Ruled by Jupiter in the ancient system, but now ruled by Neptune. I mean, as I said, Jupiter's the planet of expansion, so it's all about, you know, broadening your minds, go off and explore. But Neptune was the Roman god of the sea. So there's another connection to water just through the planet. And I mean, Neptune's the dream planet. Neptune's the dreamer. So there's a lot of intuition, dreams comes up, and the colours that you could choose from are white or mauve. I mean, I'd argue that you could swap the dark blue from Aquarius with mauve from Pisces, but that's just me. You know, what I would do isn't necessarily what anyone else would do, but that's okay. All right, so we've gone through all of the zodiacs, and now I'm just going to run through what the individual colours, like the general colours, could be used for. So first off, we've got white. A white candle is usually the standard substitution for any other colour. So if you don't have a candle in the colour that you want or that you feel you need, but you've got a stash of white candles, use a white candle. The white candle isn't going to take anything away from the energy of the spell. But white, you can specifically use white for purity, for innocence, for protection. Some people use white for protection. Can also be used for goddess type rituals, spells. But again, it's up to you. But white can also be used for like a new start, you know, new beginnings, new life. I mean, white in modern Western ideals could be, you know, it's worn by brides on their wedding day, so you could use white in that instance. I mean, some cultures white is associated with something else, but you know, each their own. Next we've got red. planet of Mars, planet and god of war. I mean, red, colour of action, colour of passion. You know, if you've got a partner, it's that whole bedroom time with them. But you could also use red for courage. So, I mean, I would associate red with courage because I know that red jasper is associated with courage, and red jasper, clue in the name. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit sitting in one way for too long. But yeah, you've got red, it's the passion side of things. Then we get to orange. So this is sort of going through the colours of the rainbow. It's the orange, colour of the sun. So if you don't have gold, you can use orange. Growth, self-esteem, self-confidence, general abundance, joy, optimism, success. So there's that as well. You could I should say you could use or an orange candle for fertility, but to me that's more green, but we'll get to that. Next we've got yellow. Mercury, the winged messenger of the Roman gods. Clear communication, activity, improving memory. I have actually used a yellow candle to help with memory, so I've done that one. Concentration, learning, overcoming any mental blocks. If you've, if you feel mentally like you're not going anywhere, like that mental stagnation, you can use a yellow candle for that. So yeah. Next we've got green. So green associated with Venus, the goddess of love. To me, it's not, green isn't a lovey sort of colour, but you could argue that it's good for the world. Green is a good colour for the world. Herbs, plants, gardening, anything involving nature, plant nature, peace, harmony. Green for wealth. If you don't have any kind of gold, then you can always use green. Green I can also see for fertility, because the fertile earth. Next we've got turquoise. We've got two different blues. We've got turquoise and blue, but turquoise, it's good for the heart, the mind. I mean, turquoise is associated with at least one of the chakras. I want to say it's the throat, because green's the heart, blue's the throat. Yep. Heart, mind, feelings, thoughts, healing. I mean, there's a reason why a lot of health systems, like any logos associated with them, is blue. It's healing. It's a nice, cool, calming colour, again, you could use a blue candle, a turquoise candle specifically for, you know, calming things down. For anything involving art, creativity. Next we'll just go with blue, normal blue, general blue, the sky, anything involving the sky. So you could use a blue candle for any deity associated with the sky. Confidence, prosperity. You could use it for prosperity, legal matters, careers, calming, problem solving. You know, so if you know someone who's going through a tough time, or you are, and you can't find a solution, you can light a blue candle and ask to be shown a possible solution. It's a possibility. It's an option. I mean, blue could also be about being noble, idealism, you know, all of those kind of things. Next we've got purple, but we've got general purple, and then we'll go through indigo, lavender and violet as well. So purple, it's a very royal colour, you know, it's like the best of the best use it, as it were. You know, it's like the height of colours, you know, it's the best of colours, because it used to be the most expensive colour that you could, you know, dye fabrics. But purple is also the colour of the crown and third eye. So there's also an element of your subconscious, wisdom, astral travel, scrying, divination, any kind of divination really, protection, for clarity. But again, regardless of what shade of purple, you could use any kind of purple. You could use a pale purple, where someone else might use a deep purple. You know, with the lavender, indigo, violet kind of shades. So if you wanted to, you could find an indigo candle and use that for spiritual healing, knowledge of past lives, general divination. Lavender, because of, you know, it's named after the herb, so you could argue, you know, use it for relaxation, for sleep. Violet for clairvoyance, mediumship, spirituality. You know, that side of things. Again, these are just, I'm just giving options. There's nothing stopping you from using a different shade. So if you associate one shade with something else that I've mentioned, go for it. Knock yourself out. Not a problem. Your craft. Your craft, your rules. It's how I work. Next we've got pink. It's the colour of Venus, apparently. New love, trust. To me, pink is more of a self-love. It's less of a passionate romantic. I mean, you could also use pink for friendships. Healing is also another option for pink. So there is that as well. Next, we'll do brown. I mean, brown's, a lot more earthy, but you could argue that brown is a lot more homey. So anything to do with the home, the earth spirits, environmental matters, conservation, grounding as well. That's that. So you could light a brown candle when you do a grounding meditation, for example. Um, it's an option. Next, we've got black. I mean, black is, I think, what a lot of people consider as the standard colour for protection. But you could also associate it with those who are no longer with us physically. I mean, again, in some cultures, black is less about the end of life and is associated with, life beginning again or something else entirely. Can be used for banishing, leaving behind pains, relationships, grief, breaking hexes and curses, psychic protection. It's a personal choice. So there's that. I mean, black's not all about breaking stuff, like breaking hexes and curses and banishing. It can also be a colour of acceptance, so a colour of forgiveness. The frailties, for like when you're looking at how someone has acted, you can see that they've made mistakes, but you can understand why those mistakes have been made. It's a colour of forgiveness. And it's acceptance. It's just like, oh, okay, this that's just how they are. But that doesn't necessarily, forgiveness is a whole ball game in itself. Silver, it's the moon. I mean, you could argue that a grey colour could also be used instead, but silver, shiny silver, glittery shiny silver, is the colour of the moon, and any lunar deities, particularly goddesses. So there's that. I mean, you could also use light a silver candle for divination, for anything involving feminine power, because the moon is feminine. The moon is a she. Most deities relating to the moon are female, so there is that. I mean, anything that the moon, I mean, you could also argue starlight, so hope, removing negativity, inner stability, scrying, anything around female, the female form, female anything, that's the colour you could use. I mean, gold, the sun, any solar deities you could use a gold candle for. It's, the colour of success, wealth, abundance, achievement, because, when you win the final at the Olympics, then you get a gold medal, also relate, gold is typically associated with anything male. So where silver is the female, gold is the male. So there is that. So yeah, I mean, these are just the generalized colours and what you could use them for. I do think it's important that you sit down and think, what colour would I associate this with? Um, so, what's a good example? I can't think of an example, but if if you, so, like, so, some people would associate pink with love. To me, that's red. Pink is more of a personal self love. Um, but some people might associate red with that instead. It's it's important to make personal connections with colours. So, you can have that, it's not just, you're not just going off what other people are saying. You've got your own ideas as well. Because I know I keep saying it, it's your craft, your choice, your rules. So what someone else does may not necessarily be the right thing for you, for your spell. Yeah, I know this is a bit of a long one and I've done a lot of talking. I'm sorry. Well, I'm sort of sorry. I hope this has been informative. If you have any questions, please do let me know in the comments. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover that I haven't already done, again, pop it in the comments and I will cover it. If you've learned something, please like this video. If you know of anyone who could potentially learn from this about the different colours, please do share it with them. And I will see you again soon. Stay safe, everyone, and blessings to you all.